the #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.
Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Bexon. This is podcast number 139. We're starting to kind of rack them up now, and I think quite a few people are amazed that I've been able to get this far. But again, we just keep getting great guests that want to come on here, want to get the information out there and kind of share it with everyone. Especially like to help kind of the little guy kind of spread his message as well, because there are some great businesses out there. Costa Rica really is a playing field for entrepreneurs. They're just, as I like to say, hay plata en el calle. There is money in the street here. So you just need to know how to pick it up. And, I think there is a huge future here for Costa Rica. Things don't appear to be, slowing down as much as they are in the rest of the world. Quite the opposite. I think a lot of people are looking for that kind of that escape, and Costa Rica certainly shows that. Today, we're going to be talking with AJ Calleri. AJ Calleri has a company called Media. It's a media kind of marketing company. So we have a bit of a focus on marketing at the moment based on the last podcast there that we had with Colin Brownlee, kind of more hospitality. This is kind of more towards social media and kind of also branding, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, those kind of things. So we're going to be talking to AJ about his experience at, helping people advertise and create brand awareness here in Costa Rica, some tidbits he's got, and also kind of where, he would invest money here in Costa Rica as well. So it'll be a great podcast to chat with him. As many of you know, we help people invest here in Costa Rica, everything from, vacation rentals, condos, hotels. We're not realtors. Basically, you kind of hire us to help guide you make the right decision here in Costa Rica. And I think anybody that's worked with us will clearly understand it's just the value that we bring to the table of like, we don't want you to buy something if we think it's not right, we'll tell you. And just kind of guiding you to have a soft landing here. We have a great reputation, and we're not going to kind of break that reputation or hurt that reputation, just to make a quick buck or two. So, we take our jobs really seriously. We have engineers and designers here inside the office here. So we have quite a few projects going on at the moment, but we love nothing more than, helping people. So you can contact us, info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. But let's get straight into the podcast. Good afternoon, AJ. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you doing, Richard?
Very, very good. Thanks for making the time this afternoon to kind of chat with us here on the podcast.
You got it.
Really focus, I think, on marketing and brand awareness for, any businesses here in Costa Rica. And also let's see if we can give them some great, tidbits and information.
That's what I'm all about. Yeah, I'll elaborate on the philosophy of my business in a moment, but I'm super excited to get involved.
Not at all. Well, AJ, the question I always like to ask everyone kind of on the podcast is, kind of the world is kind of somewhat slowing down. There's talk of recessions in some countries, economic problems, war. But I mean, what are you seeing from your business? I mean, are things still doing pretty well? Are you seeing kind of people pulling back? Because usually kind of marketing and advertising is one of those areas where people do typically kind of pull back. But I mean, what are you seeing?
That's a great question. I think it's a battle of what niche are you in? And for example, if I'm a real estate agent, if I'm a property manager, if I'm doing vacation rentals, I would suggest to that person, hammer the brand awareness, hammer the marketing, because there's people always buying, people are always looking to reinvest, and people are always looking to travel. That's your business. Honestly, guerrilla market it, like just spread your name like wildfire. If you are, for example, a deli shop or a sandwich shop or a small mom and pop shop that sells jewelry, and it's slow season or it's low season or it's recession, as we call it, and I put that in brackets, that there I would try to reserve the cash flow and do more free advertising. Maybe it's more word of mouth. Maybe it's hammering your social media, your Facebook, and getting into specific niche and groups. But I think it really is business specific and what it is that you do. I think there's always a strategy out there for you that fits not only your budget, but that fits your market as well.
Yeah, but I mean, let's talk about your business specifically. I mean, are you guys, on an upward trend? Is it pretty steady? Are you seeing clients kind of pulling back a bit? I mean, what are you personally seeing?
My apologies. Yeah, personally, I'm seeing an upward trend. We started February 1st with, so just to give you a background and your audience a background of what I do digital marketing and advertising. So essentially, my goal is to put TV screens with my software on it in locations that are going to be getting a lot of foot traffic, getting a lot of business. And my goal is to have your ad, for example, on that screen promoting your business and having your ad played over 100 times per day in each of these locations. The company is called threewinsmedia, and we started in February. I had one TV. I reside in Coco, so one TV was in Coco. And since February to now, we are now at 14 locations.
Nice.
With our TVs, and the upward trend has been tremendous. And meeting one business owner introduces me to another business owner, and the snowball has been happening for me. And everyone loves the digital world. Everyone knows that the world is going digital, and not a lot of people are looking at static street signs anymore. They're more looking at TV screens or on their phone, etc. So that's kind of where my world comes into play, and I've been seeing an upward trend there.
Well, I mean, we certainly are trained to look at TV screens, that's for sure. You know, I mean, sometimes it's difficult to get off them. So yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Definitely. I mean, what kind of businesses are you working with at the moment? Because again, you know, the idea of this podcast is really to kind of just get information out there. And I mean, we'll get into particulars of kind of like, you know, let's give away some of the inside baseball kind of knowledge. But I mean, what kind of businesses are you working with at the moment, and what kind of businesses would you like to be working with?
Totally. So currently a lot of restaurants. So I have two sides to the business. The one side is my hosts, where my TVs will be presented.
Yep.
And the second aspect of the business is obviously the clientele that are going to be paying to be on the screens. So as a host, majority of them are restaurants.
Yep.
They're restaurants, or they're plazas, they're food courts, and as of now, hotels. So those are my hosts. Again, my thought process is I want foot traffic, I want high turnaround, so I want someone new in your establishment all the time.
Yep.
That means your ad is going to be seen by numerous people on a daily basis and a monthly basis. So that's one side of the business. So those people as a host are also promoting each other on their screens. So if you're a host and I'm a host, we're promoting each other.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's and I'll get into the philosophy in a bit, but it's all about we rise by lifting others up. That's kind of my saying. That's my slogan. 3 wins media equals win-win-win scenario across the board. So I'm all about how do we find a way where you can win, I can win, and the customer can win.
Yep.
That being said, on the subscription side of things, on the customer side of things, a lot of them are real estate agents, home inspectors, other service providers like water sports and fishing tours, and my own business, and then online businesses such as like online dances and Latin dancing and stuff like that as well. So, and then just as of recently signed on a new client that is doing baby gear rental. So like renting out strollers and renting cribs and renting all these things for vacationers that don't travel with these things.
Yep.
They provide a rental service for that as well. So across the board, there's no discrimination. If you have a business and you want to get brand awareness, we're the type of business that's going to help you out.
Well, I mean, that's great to hear, AJ. I mean, number one, from your point of view, congratulations for coming down here for Costa Rica and starting a business. You know, and I mean,
thanks so much.
You know, I say to people here in Costa Rica, they're saying, "Hay plata en el calle." There's money in the street. You just need to pick it up. And I don't think people understand is like how raw Costa Rica is at the moment and how much opportunity that there is.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, I mean, as soon as you come down here, I mean, it's just think about stuff that you have, you know, in the rest of the world and see how you can apply it down here in Costa Rica. So
the number one thing that I did was when we were here, my fiance and I, when we moved here, we were looking like we had our own business. It's online business. We're technically digital nomads. But I always I fell in love with Costa Rica. I wanted to plant more roots within Costa Rica. And I started to look at the economy. I started looking at what people are doing, how people are buying, what is the buying behaviors of people here and customers here. And through this research, we kept finding places within Coco, within Hermosa, within Tamarindo that we didn't even know about until we visited 100 times. Yeah. Like we went to Tamarindo and we're like, okay, well, we never knew this place existed. We never knew this place existed. I'm like, these places are all incredible businesses. They have great food, they have great service, and they need to be known. So I'm like, how do we get these places to be seen from Coco to Tamarindo, from Tamarindo into Coco, et cetera? Like, how do people get to know about these other businesses without having to be there all the time? And long story short, I'm like, how are people advertising? I typed in digital advertising in Costa Rica, And there was nothing. Seriously, like there was people who did do digital printing, website creation, logo creation, but there was no, I guess, in a lack of a better word, digital signage that offered the service that I'm putting together now. So I'm like, this is interesting. Everyone's paying for street signs and big billboards and stuff like that, that you can only see if you have a car and if you're looking at it. Otherwise, I'm, as a driver here, and I'm sure you can attest to this, you're looking at potholes, you're looking at potential dogs on the road, iguanas on the road, cyclists on the road, people walking, etc. So it's hard to look at a sign while I'm trying to navigate the GPS and the streets. So the best solution that I found was like, well, let's put a sign in establishments where people are going to be sitting, where people are relaxed, where people are going to be looking and enjoying the atmosphere. And maybe you and I are having a drink and we're talking about scuba diving, and little, to you, there's a scuba diving ad on the screen. You're like, oh my God, AJ, scan the QR code. Let's go scuba diving tomorrow. You know what I mean? So that was our biggest thing. We always found that we had to be in certain places so many times to even know they existed. So we said, let's try to make this a broader opportunity for other people to get their brand awareness and get recognized. And that's where Three Wins Media came into play.
Well, good for you. I mean, I think the thing that people probably need to understand is that, like, when people are in restaurants or here in Costa Rica, a lot of people are on vacation, their wallets are open, meaning people are expecting to spend money on vacation. When they're
Totally.
home, sometimes their wallets are closed or, but it's amazing. I mean, what happens here? People are on vacation, man. They want to spend money.
That's exactly right. And what better place to have your service? Or I'm visiting for the first time. I might have some deep pockets, or I got some real estate that I want to invest in. A realtor's on there, and I said, oh, perfect. This person looks like a great opportunity for me to reach out and just play the field of, hey, what's real estate like in Costa Rica? And now that person can get that recognition that they deserve.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I was about to ask you how you track it, because that's always the thing, or with advertising sometimes, especially with published media but I suppose with QR codes, it does make things easier now.
That's correct. So there's two ways of doing it. If you wanted to put your ad on my screen, you can 100% create your own advertisement. You don't have to have me do it.
Yep.
I just started embodying the technology with Three Wins Media. It took me a while, and it took me a lot of research and trial and error with my own advertising and just testing it out to get the proper data. I've now embodied this technology with my platform that allows specific QR codes that if I make your ad, I upload it on that ad. And if you were to say, hey, AJ, let's track my last month's scan, I can now provide you with that data in real time. But it doesn't apply to all the ads. It's only when they ask me that they want that service, and I will create it for them with that specific technology on there.
Well, I think that's important. Tracking is everything when you're investing money into marketing. So, and that used to be people used to give, the different URLs, they used to use different 1-800 numbers or different local numbers in order to be able to track it. But QR codes have certainly made it easier to go to a created landing page with a, unique contact form or,
Totally.
some cooking the individual to be able to track them. So I think it's really important when you're spending money in marketing to be able to track it, because again, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. So.
Well, there's been decades where people pay countless dollars on having their small ad on newspapers, or they're having their ad produced on, again, we'll take a billboard, for example. They'll spend thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars a month that you don't necessarily can afford, and there's zero tracking. Everyone that I've asked, I've said, hey, I saw your face up there because now I'm looking for it. What's your ROI? And they kind of go white a little bit. They're like, I don't know what my ROI is. And I'm like, and how much are you paying into this every month? And some people say, well, I paid up front, or whatever the answer may be, but you don't know what you're getting from that besides a potential recognition of someone who has a car, who is driving by it, who's looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, what advice would you give to anyone looking to, I suppose, promote their business in Costa Rica? I mean, you've been here for 2 years. I'm sure you've seen a wide gambit of stuff. I mean, what advice would you give to anyone that's either looking to increase, kind of revenue as new in the business, or just looking to kind of spice things up? I mean, what would be your advice to them?
My biggest piece of advice to anyone who has a business currently and looking to increase their customer base and or starting a new business is, I've realized that Costa Rica is famous for their Facebook groups. Yeah. And Facebook groups are the Bible here. I don't know what it is about them, but people love them. And they're filled with your ideal customer. And all I would suggest is do your research, go into Facebook and look at all the travel groups, look at all the local groups, look at all the garage sale groups, etc. And with the specific rules of all these groups is you want to make sure that you are able to promote. You don't want to, get banned or kicked out of the groups, but promote yourself, and just talk about the solution that you offer. If you're our service, or if you're a business, if you're a restaurant, show a dish that not a lot of people have, and show a certain price point. Maybe that, hey, we're doing a special steak night on Saturday with live music. Come and check us out if you've never been. So my biggest piece of advice, which is also free to do, just requires a little bit of your time. Go into Facebook, research the groups of your local community and all the other travel groups out there. I think I'm currently in about 50 groups. And religiously, I go in there once a week when I'm able to promote them. And I just talk about a different piece of my business in those groups once a week. And every time, Richard, I've done this, I probably generated at least 10, if not 15 inquiries. My first Facebook post that I made when I launched 3winsmedia, I got over 120 inquiries off of one post, and my website, I think, had over 1,000 visits in a day.
My first client actually was on Facebook group. There was someone asking there of, hey, we're looking to, invest in a luxury vacation rental in Costa Rica. Who can we help? And then the realtors kind of ran to it. And I was like, look, I'm not a realtor. Like, I can advise you on what to invest into, where to invest into it, and what your returns are going to be.
Right.
But you're going to have to pay me for my time. Like, I'll give you all the data of like
totally
occupancy, average daily rates in areas for number of rooms. So I can tell you is that, like, look, the gap is a 5 or 6 bedroom home in Hacienda Pinilla, close to the ocean, and this is what your return is going to look like, rather than the, hey, I'm making 6% on this, by this one.
Right. No, and Facebook is the golden nugget, and I will tell anybody the best piece of advice. I would not say go do a massive marketing campaign. I would not say take a bunch of dollars and do an ad spend on Instagram and Facebook and Google ads. I say be yourself, go into the group as your business, or go into the group as your personal service, whatever you do, and offer a solution to the people who need it without sounding salesy, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I mean, again, is it any different than these podcasts of like, give the information away, like give it away?
Yeah.
So, well, AJ, let's just talk about kind of, a lot of people listening to this podcast are looking to move down here to Costa Rica potentially. I mean, in businesses, I mean, what do you think of the businesses that are missing here? Where are the gaps in the market that you think could be filled?
Oh my God.
What business would you like to see down here? Which one do you miss from, the States that you'd like to see down here?
Yeah. Personally, I mini putt.
Yep.
I know it's so old school, but like, if you could have a mini putt business down by the beach, on the boardwalk, whether it's, the hot spots of Coco or Tamarindo or anything of the sort, but like, offer quick service. You have some string lights above them. You have a front desk. You get a little mini putt.
That's a great idea.
You can walk around with you. And I think that's an incredible service. I think that, coupled with potentially streamlining like an Uber Eats of some sort, or streamlining something like a shuttle service that does things within the town itself.
Yep.
That would be really, really, really cool. But there's just so many, like the one thing that I had a conversation with one of my relatives. He came to down here and he visited, and he's got a business up in Canada. And he said to me, you know what I realized here, AJ, is that from being in North America and Canada and seeing a lot of the world, he travels a lot, but he goes, being in Canada specifically and then coming to Costa Rica, it's like you were traveled back in time. Like, you can bring things to Costa Rica that already exist. You just copy and paste the model, you bring it here, and you make it happen for yourself. And essentially, I'm not reinventing the wheel with digital marketing, digital signage, advertising. I'm just bringing it to Costa Rica.
Yeah. I mean, how much because I'm sure someone's going to ask it. I mean, how much is it to advertise on the screens?
Totally. Yeah. Actually, it's very valuable. So at the lowest price point we have is $60 per month. And that is a 1-year subscription. Yep. With that, you get coupled with your ad being seen guaranteed over 100 times per day per location. And as I grow into more locations, you have automatic reservations on those screens. So right now we are at 14 screens, growing into 15 screens by the end of this week. And I have quite a few conversations in the pipeline with multiple other locations, like I said, hotel chains and bigger businesses within Liberia and hopefully soon San Jose. But like I just one brick at a time, I'm slowly building. But at $60 a month, you can get your ad seen significantly more than paying hundreds of dollars for a newspaper ad, which I've done my research, and they cost hundreds of dollars for a little small snippet on a paper full of other businesses just like yourself. To paying even thousands of dollars a month to have your face on a billboard. So I did my best to make it worthy for people to see the value in what I'm offering them, and for your sign to be digital. You can have a video, you can flip it on the fly if you want to do a promotion one month. If you want to, I think real estate agents would be amazing on my screen, because if you have a hot sale for the month, if you want to promote specific homes for that month, a rental property, whatever the case may be, it'd be genius for you to be on these screens in front of people where they're sitting and looking for potential other real estate or rental homes.
Definitely. Well, I mean, AJ, you've lived here in Costa Rica now, for 2 years.
That's right.
And a lot of people are looking to kind of move here. What advice do you have for people, when it comes to moving here to Costa Rica? What would you say is kind of some of the things that you just need to be aware of? The good and the bad, I suppose.
Totally. The good, I think that's a loaded question, my friend. Holy moly. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where to go with this. I'll give you the kind of the blueprint of what I did and what my fiance and I did is we looked at our main checkpoints, our values of what we were looking for in a country. And that was from Canada to Costa Rica. We wanted our dollar to go further. We wanted to have sunshine all year round because we were sick and tired of the cold. We wanted community-based, like local community-based, energy. We're very big into energy and vibrations, etc. So we wanted something like that. We wanted palm trees. We wanted a beach, of course, and we wanted to have a sense of growth within ourselves in our online business. So that's kind of what we were looking for. And it just so happened the pin landed on Costa Rica. We've never been here before. We didn't know what we wanted out of Costa Rica. We just said, let's shot in the dark. Let's go figure it out. And moving here, the good is that's exactly what we got based on what we were looking for. We got a sense of community. We got the palm trees. We got the beaches. We got, our dollar could go further. We got all these incredible things. And the bad, I got to say, Richard, and this is me being completely honest, I don't seek the bad, so I don't see the bad.
Good answer.
And I don't look for it. I know it exists, and no matter where you are, it exists. However, out of sight, out of mind, I guess you would say. And if I'm not seeking for it, I don't see it. And I see 10x, 100x more of the good than the bad, based especially where I live. And you're going to have bad apples in the batch at all times, but you just do your best to stay focused on you, stay focused on what your goals are and what your vision is. And you just so happen to not see it as much. If I'm focusing on the bad and I'm focusing on the negative and that's all I'm looking for, you're going to get more of it, and 100%. Vice versa.
100%. Yeah. Well, AJ, this has been great. Let me ask you my last question. If you had $500,000 and had to invest it into a business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you do with it and why?
Oh my God. 500K in a business or in a...
I'm sure you'd buy a bunch of screens and put them everywhere, but like...
I probably would. I'd ask someone to partner up with me and grab a private jet and make that like an Uber service or something like that. No, a real answer though, Richard, I would probably buy multiple studios, Airbnb, and have that be a source of passive income, hire a property management company and have that be a source of income. That's probably what I would do in a nutshell. That way it's fully hands-off, residual money coming in, service is fully taken care of it via the bookings, the cleanings, etc. And I can, as they say, tranquilo on the beach, pura vida, right? That's kind of the lifestyle I'm looking for.
Awesome. Well, AJ, really appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast. I'll put your contact details in the descriptions. If anyone wants to come on one of AJ's screens or chat with him further, you can do. But really appreciate you taking the time to come and chat with us and give us some of the information.
I can't thank you enough for having me as a guest on your podcast. I look forward to speaking with you further in the future. And everybody, I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much.
Sounds good, buddy.
Bye. All right, talk soon.
I hope you enjoyed that podcast there with AJ, guys. As you can see, I've taken a bit of it's not really intentional, but the last couple of podcasts have been more on kind of marketing and I would say sales. Just again, a lot of people reaching out to kind of want to come on the podcast. I'd love to have everybody kind of come on them. And if anybody listening wants to come on, we'll chat about anything and everything about your experience here in Costa Rica and advice that you have. I think it doesn't have to be about real estate. I mean, it can be a lot of people, we talk to have services around in Costa Rica, or just want to give kind of their experience of what it's like to live and kind of relocate here in Costa Rica. So it's just about getting the information out there, so people basically have perspective to make an informed decision of whatever that may be. So remember, you can reach out to us, info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. Don't be shy, guys. It can just be to say hi. Until the next podcast, we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
The #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.